Hi everyone, welcome back to the podcast. It's normally one of the better podcasts of the year. It's the Antepost Classics preview, and we've also thrown in some horses to follow at the end. There's only one rule for this podcast: no crowing about pre-existing Antepost positions or prices, because that's what pricks do, and that's banned. Welcome back, James. You're normally pretty effective at this one. You are allowed to crow about some of the one selections that you've had in previous years on this pod.
Yeah, no, it's been a good one. The last 2 years, I think we've had a double figure winner in each of them. Obviously, we both liked Love last year, who won the Guineas. She also won the Oaks, but we didn't put up for the Oaks. We both liked Peaceful, who won the Irish Guineas, but obviously we don't look at the Irish version. But yeah, I think Love was 20-1 when we tipped her. Obviously, in the past we had Anna Perner at 40s. So, and I think that's it for big winners. But yeah, we're normally not there or thereabouts.
Yeah, hunting for value a little bit on the exchange is the mission. So let's start. We won't meander, as we've been accused of doing. 2,000 guineas. Market is headed currently. I think Battleground is the 5.4 favourite on the exchange. James, who do you like in the 2,000 guineas?
I think this is probably, obviously, with it being quite soon. I've played it pretty obvious in this, to be honest. I think obviously O'Brien's got a bit of a stranglehold at the top of the market with Battleground, St Mark's Basilica, and Wembley, and then you've got Joseph O'Brien with Thunder Moon as well. I mean, O'Brien's just too good in this race, isn't he? Recently. So I do like one of his, but I'm not too keen on Battleground, to be honest. Just the fact that he's a war front puts me off. I wasn't keen on his British form either. He ran all right at the Breeders' Cup, but I don't know. I'm just not a fan, and I'm surprised at his price, to be honest. I think he's too short for me now. The one I like is Wembley, who was second in the Dewhurst. I thought he was quite unlucky in that race. Probably should have won with a better run. He's by Galileo. He will prefer better ground. Obviously, Dewhurst was running quite soft ground. And I just think, even though he's had 6 career starts, I think he's open to the most progression out of that top of the market. St Mark's Basilica is fine. Obviously, he won the Dewhurst. He's by Siuni. Obviously, Siuni's never had a British Guineas winner yet. But he's a half to Magna Gracia, who did win the Guineas. So, I mean, I suppose it's all there for him. Wembley's just a slightly bigger price. And I did feel he was unlucky in the Dewhurst and the National Stakes. So, of the O'Brien three at the front of the market, I prefer Wembley. He's also the bigger price of them, which is obviously nice. Yeah, that's my first one. I've actually backed. He's the only one I've backed, so yeah.
Do you want me? I'll go next, and then you can have a couple of others, because I've got 3 in this, but they're all a bit ropey, and they're all a bit like just for the sake of taking on the front of the market, and you might want to throw a £5 or a £10 on them. You don't want to be backing these big stakes. Who's the first one I'm going to go to? I'm going to go to an unraced horse, trained by Peter Chappell-Hyam. Do you know? Have you seen this one?
No, but I think you need to stop talking already.
The horse is Saif Al-Dawla, by Frankel and Out of the Dam Attraction. So he's a full brother to Elican, who obviously went off 5-1 for the Guineas the year that Saxon Warrior won it, and was beaten 2 lengths. And of course, in that Guineas, he was a neck ahead of Roaring Lion. Elican, of course, was a Group 2 winner of the York Stakes, beating subsequent Group 1 winner Adaeb over 10. Attraction herself won the English 1,000 guineas and the Irish 1,000 guineas, plus multiple other Group 1s. So that is an unraced horse, Saif Al Dowler, trained by Peter Chappell Hyam, and 100 currently on the exchange. If you like that one. So that is my first one.
I was just checking it was entered.
Is it entered?
It is entered, yeah.
Good.
But
Good.
check unraced horse. You never know.
Yeah.
But he is entered, so that's all right.
Good. You can go again.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Normally it would be nice to look for sort of a bigger price one, but I just think that they call the 2,000 guineas the last 2-year-old race, don't they?
Mm.
So I mean, ideally you do want something that's shown some decent form at 2. And the only other one I liked, and it's not it's near the top of the market. It's actually been supported a little bit the last few days. One Ruler for Charlie Appleby and Godolphin. He won the Autumn Stakes quite impressively, which is obviously run at Newmarket the day of the Dewhurst. He then went to the Vertum Futurity, and he came second to Max Sweeney, but that ground was just an absolute. It was a disgraceful ground, really, that day at Doncaster. He will obviously be much better on a sounder surface, and I think over Godolphin horses, I think he is the one for them. So yeah, nothing too out of the box for this for me. I think the top is pretty solid. That's where the winner will come from. I should mention Thunder Moon. I'm not a fan, to be honest. That's why I'm not giving it much attention. By Zoffany, I thought he looked quite a speedy horse. I'm not sure he's going to see out this mile that strongly. Yeah, just Wembley's the one for me.
Another high-priced one, Highland Avenue by Dubawi out of Lumiere. He's the dam's first progeny. She was 114 rated, won the Sir Henry Cecil Stakes, which is a listed race over a mile at Newmarket in 2016, and came second in the Group 2 Challenge Stakes at the same track that year as well. Just because I'm trying to find Dubawi angles to take on the Galileos or the O'Brien horses. So that is Highland Avenue. Let's go and try and find Highland Avenue somewhere. Where is he? There he is. He's there at 75. So there you go. 75.0 selection and 100.0 selection. Another one that I want to throw in is Noble Dynasty by Dubawi again. The dam is Alina. The dam also had Barney Roy, which I thought was interesting. And also another 90 rated horse called Wisdom Mind. Of course, Barney Roy was second in the Guineas behind Churchill. He was beaten a length. And then he went and won the St. James's Palace at Ascot on his next start. So again, Noble Dynasty there in at 65. Thought could be interesting. Could be some value there.
Spoiler alert, Tom.
What?
Noble Dynasty's in my horses to follow.
Oof, nice. Well, he's going to win the Guineas, so it's all right, isn't it?
Well, I'm not sure he's going to win the Guineas, but
definitely follow him. And then I like Joseph O'Brien horse called Isle of Sark, who's by Kitten's Joy. So of course the sire of Kamiko and Roaring Lion. Has had one run so far, won at Dundalk over 7. Joseph O'Brien talked this also up a fair bit on the Betfair podcast he did with Kevin Blake the other day. I had him written down before that, but it was interesting when they started talking about him. It did sound like he might be one for later in the season, but I mean, the Kitten's Joys have been doing well in this. So again, at a big price, and I'm trying to find interesting stuff. Isle of Sark there at 70. So there's Isle of Sark at 70 for you. Highland Avenue at 75. Noble Dynasty at 65. And what was that weird Peter Chappell Lyman one? Saif Dawla at 100. 200 guineas. That's a great way to put a fiver on each and lose 20 quid. Right, what about the 1,000 guineas?
It's interesting. Did you put up any Aiden O'Brien horses?
No. And even though I do run the system, just back all Aiden O'Brien and all Jordan Gosden runners in classics. So, but I was trying to be creative for the podcast.
Yeah, no, that's good because I've been a bit more creative than the others, but I just think the 2,000 guineas is a bit. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the trials, but I don't know.
And I was also trying to find one that might run well in the trial and then cut in price, so you might be able to trade out as well.
Yeah.
So 1,000 guineas. Of course, Santa Barbara is now horrendously short after a few words in the Stable 2 write-up. What is she now? 3.85, which is ridiculous. But hopefully it should make some value elsewhere in the market. And of course she might win. But that's very, very short Antepost at this period in time. Do you want to kick us off with the 1,000?
Yeah. I mean, it's especially short when you fit in this. She's only had one run, a maiden, on heavy ground. But yeah, she's way too short now. Absolutely ridiculous price. I thought it was quite interesting on Aiden's Stable 2 thing he did on the races. I mean, obviously they've got so many horses they can't cover them all, but he only mentioned 3 fillies. I just thought that was quite interesting. Obviously Santa Barbara is one. And another one of them who I like for this is Joan of Arc. Obviously the pedigree's all there by Galileo. She's a full sister to Glen Eagles, who won the Guinea. She's marvellous. Happily was third in the 1,000 guineas. Vatican City, who was second in the Irish 2,000 guineas. So it's all there, and we've obviously seen her this season. She won on the first day of the flat season in Ireland. They obviously thought they want to get her out early because she only had one run at the back end of last year at Dundalk, where she was second. She will probably go for a trial now. There was a few people saying how it was an amazing performance on Twitter and stuff. I thought it was okay. I thought it didn't blow me away. I was hoping for a little bit more considering the pedigree, but again, she wouldn't have liked the ground. She'll improve plenty for a better surface. It's a pretty obvious one, to be honest, and she's still a decent price with Santa Barbara being back the way she has. You're getting Joan of Arc at like 60. I think she's still available 16, so you can get 17.5 in the exchange. What you got to remember with Santa Barbara as well is she's I think she's the half sister to Iridessa, isn't she? And Order of Australia, is it? Who won at the Breeders' Cup? I don't know. By Camelot. I think I've got more written down there for the Oaks because I don't think she's going to win that. So yeah, that'll be my first one. If you want to go second.
Yeah. One of the ones that I really like is one you're going to mention, so I'll let you mention that one. I'll mention some different ones. Quite like Snow Lantern, just because of the profile of the dam. Let's go and find Snow Lantern. It's on the 2nd of May. Snow Lantern's there at 20s at the moment. Why did I like Snow Lantern? So she's by Frankel out of a dam called Sky Lantern. And you might remember Sky Lantern from kind of the early 2010s. So she won the 1,000 guineas in 2013 and the Coronation Stakes and the Sun Chariot, which is also a group on at Newmarket. She was rated 119 herself. Now, her other progeny, they've both been by Dubawi. They haven't been very good so far. And this is her first offspring by Frankel. So I just thought there, again, I'm looking for potential. A very high quality dam by Frankel. You might like to see Frankel starting to. He's been more of a mile and a half sire probably so far, but you'd like to see him trying to make inroads into the 1 mile and the Guineas trips. So I quite like Snow Lantern. I'll take another one, and then I'll hand back to you. I also like we'll talk about Monsoon Moon. Is Monsoon Moon on your list?
Not for the Guineas, no.
Well, yeah, probably that's why. Yeah, but Monsoon Moon is by Kingman out of a dam called Scuffle. Now she is the dam of Logician and Collide. Where is Monsoon Moon? There, you can get 60 from 26, 60 on Monsoon Moon. I mean, yeah, maybe the Oaks trip is better, or even the somewhat longer. But I thought the Kingman influence might be enough. And at the price, I did quite like Monsoon Moon. Again, very high quality pedigree. very unexposed, untapped. Let's see what. I think Monster Moon will turn out to be a very good horse. Depends whether she shows that in the 1,000 guineas or later in the season. Throw back over to you.
Yeah, I have got notes. My notes for Monster Moon is I didn't look at her for the 1,000 guineas for the Oaks, and I've just put Kingman and put a big cross next to it.
And that's why I put her for the 1,000.
Yeah. I just thought it might be a bit too soon.
Yeah.
But you don't know how far they're going to come on. I'm looking for more sort of experience sources for the 1,000 and 2,000 guineas. But I do like. I've also got Snow Lantern written down for the Oaks. I think she's a big price for that. She ran a really nice race on her debut at Ascot. The second one, it's another obvious one for the 1,000 guineas, and that's Shale for Donegal O'Brien, again by Galileo, out of a 1,000 guineas winner, homecoming queen. So it speaks for itself, doesn't it? Very good 2-year-old form. Was her and Pretty Gorgeous kept beating each other, but Shale beat her on better ground, which you would expect to get sort of the start of May. She's come from the Fillies Mile. We haven't touched on the races that are like good races for these good trials, but obviously the Fillies Mile's seen as probably the best one. She didn't run great in that, but again the ground was pretty bad. I had slight concerns about her going for the Irish 1,000 guineas. Don't think he was 100% sure in his stable to her, but again, it's all there on the page. Plus, she's got the form. If she went, she's, you know what I mean, she's likely improve her as a 3-year-old, being by Galileo. Her mum won the race. And she's, again, 16's available. I don't know what she's in exchange. 17.5 as well. So, yeah, pretty obvious, but still decent prices.
Yeah, I've got a few others. Again, I want to shout out for pennies on the exchange. Ashari is by Dabawi, and Dam is Kabayeb. Huh?
I've got Ashari written down, but I spoke to Sam who works for Godolphin, and he said she might be going French guineas.
All right.
Because I really liked Ashari. I was going to tip her because she's like 33s, and I was really impressed with her debut, but apparently she's in a Group 3 in France. Because they want softer ground for her, so she'll go for a Group 3 in France, and then potentially the French, the Poulain, I think it's called. So I don't know. I mean, I'd be very interested in Ashari as well, but she might be going French guineas.
Well, then this is a tip for the French equivalent then. So we'll just say why we like Ashari then. So Hibayeb is the dam. She also had Wahida, who was a Newmarket Group 2 winner, won the Dahlia Stakes over 9 in 2018, rated 112. Dam herself was a Group 1 winner over a mile, winning the Fillies Mile that you just mentioned. But when it was moved to Ascot in 2009, she also won the Ribblesdale over 12 in 2010. And is rated 114. So Dabawi, high quality dam. Anything else to say on Ashari for the French?
No, I just thought we're going French and that.
Yeah, cool. I also like. Are we not mentioning? Have you got Darling written for the Oaks? So we save that one because I'm going to back that one for this as well.
Who?
Radigunda is the dam. You'll know who it is. You're obviously you're going to tip it for the Oaks. We'll wait.
Ali.
Huh?
Gosden horse.
No. Well, it's all right. We'll wait. We'll come to it. There's another one that I quite like, which is a bit of a rogue one, which is a Rafe Beckett horse called Pimelo, which is in there at 75. She's by Dabawi, and the dam is Emulous. Trained by Rafe Beckett. Dam also had Desirius, rated in the 80s. Emulous herself was a Group 1 winner over a mile, rated 115. So again, Dabawi, high quality dam, 75 on the exchange. That's basically the angle. I've got one I haven't mentioned, but I expect I'll mention her for the Oaks, so I'll skip it.
I've got a couple more written down to discuss that I'm not backing.
Go on.
But do you know that Galileo progeny have won 4 of the last 5 1,000 guineas?
Are they?
Yeah. That's why I've stuck with sort of Joan of Arc, Shale angle as well. But
Yeah, but it has to change at a certain point.
yeah, of course it does. Of course it does. But and I'm sure it will. But so yeah, just Indigo Girl. She's near the top of the market, so worth mentioning. Obviously, she was second in the fillies. Huh?
Oaks.
She's she might go France as well. Understood up in the air. And then obviously we haven't even mentioned Pretty Gorgeous, literally second favourite, who won the fillies mile. I don't know. I'm just not really a fan. I can't really put my finger on it, but again, by Lawman wouldn't really be a buyer that I'd be going crazy for, and she's just too short of a price as well. So yeah, the two for me, Joan of Arc and Shale, both 16s.
Cool. Then the ones for me are Snow Lantern, Monsoon Moon, Pimelo. Are we not? Are you going to mention Hopefully Darling later on?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. What about the Derby then?
You can go first if you want.
Oh, thanks. I don't know if I actually have anything for the. Oh yeah, I do. I've got one. No, I haven't. Nothing. No tip.
No tip.
No tip.
Nothing to even discuss. I thought you were going to come with graphs and tables and that kind of thing.
No, not for the Derby.
Nothing for the Derby. Wow.
No.
Antepost Classics podcast.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, obviously, Aiden O'Brien is the place to start. I actually cannot believe how many horses he's got for this. Like, just entered, and I was looked earlier. I tweeted it out. He's got 20 in the Dante. He doesn't even. That's not even one of his key trials. So I'm just gonna talk about a couple and then just brush over a lot of them. Obviously, High Definition is the favourite. It's hard to sort of put a dampener on him. He was impressive in both his starts so far. He is a full brother to Innisfree. He's Galileo. He's out of Palace, who was 102 rated. Obviously, both of his starts, he's finished like an absolute train, so he's just going to improve going up in trip. But he's just too short now. I've just got no interest in backing him at. I think it's like 3-1 or something ridiculous. So yeah, ignore him. Someone's been stealing some money on the exchange. I'm gonna be angry. Give it to you. Right, yeah. So High Definition, yeah, too short. Wembley is near the top of the market for this again, but I don't actually. I like him for the Guineas, but I don't like him for this. His Damn Inca Princess is actually only rated 84, which is a bit of a big negative for the Derby. You want a black type mare. He also, on Simon Rowland's piece that he did on potential classic horses, it's quite interesting actually that Wembley, although he's by Galileo, he does stride like a 8/9 furlong horse. So, I mean, these Galileos do just seem to get the Derby trip. It's not really a problem, but that would put me off slightly. But more the Dam. Max Sweeney's near the top of the market. He won the Vertum Futurity. He just looks like a mudlark to me. If it starts raining heavily, then he'd probably be worth backing, but I just can't have him. And Battleground's in top of the market again. He's by Warfront. I cannot see him getting this Derby trip. And Aiden O'Brien said he thinks he's a miler. Now, there's a lot of other Aiden O'Brien horses. Arturo Tuscany, Bolshoi Ballet, Cleveland, Carlisle Bay, Wordsworth, many others, all potential massive improvers. But the one I actually like of the Aiden O'Brien horses is Van Gogh. Now, it's a bit of a different angle in terms of sires because he's by American Pharaoh, obviously Triple Crown winner, but he's also out of Imagine, who was an Oaks winner and rated 120. So obviously the pedigree is top notch, and he should have no problem with the mile and a half trip. He's had quite a few races at 2. He's a Group 1 winner. He won a Group 1 in France. He's a half to Horatio Nelson, who actually died in the Derby. But he was 121 rated Group 1 winner before then. The whole family is pretty good. It's got loads of horses rated above 110. He's available at like 20 to 1, so he's actually still half decent price, and he's already got top class form in the book. Aiden O'Brien's been quite complimentary in his stable tour as well. So yeah, I think of the O'Brien clan, I think he's interesting and still a backable price. Wordsworth is quite interesting. He seems to be the number. When him and High Definition were in the same maiden, Wordsworth's only ran once, and he seemed to be in the first colours. And he's a full brother. I think it's Kew Gardens. Yeah, but he's nicely bred anyway. He's like 50s. He could be a massive improver. But putting all the O'Briens to the side, you know what I mean, he's going to turn up with probably 5 or 6 at least. So it's hard to pin it down, and I think you've got to take on High Definition. And I've got a question for you. You sometimes turn up with a question for me. I've got a question for you.
All right.
Right. How many Derby winners do you think John Goslin has had?
I can't remember many. 2?
2 is correct. Good guess. Can you name them?
No.
1 you should know. 1's relatively recent, but I don't think you know the other one.
No, I don't know.
No, well, the obvious one is Golden Horn.
Okay.
Yeah, and the other one was Benny the Dip, which I think was in 87 or something.
Oh, well, we were 1.
So I think it's time for another John Gosden Derby winner. And there's one I really like.
Or a Thaddy Gosden.
John and Fady, yeah. John and Fady Gosden, I should say. Yeah, I really like Dirab. So Dirab is by Sea of the Stars, and he is out of concentric, which makes him a half brother to Enable.
Yeah.
So
horses to follow.
Ooh, well, yeah, you want to be following this one, trust me. So yeah, obviously top class pedigree. Sea of the Stars has had a Derby winner in Harzand, obviously won the Derby himself. So I love Dirab's debut, Ascot over 7 furlongs. You know, he didn't win that day, but he travelled like an absolute classy horse. The winner was actually Labarosa, who came out and won a Group 3 on his next start and then went off favourite for a Group 1. So I'm not worried about him getting beat by him. Godolphins tend to be more forward on their debuts than a John Gosden horse would be, especially one that he wants to sort of take his time with. But if you watch it back, Dirab, he's barely asked a question really. And he actually, if you look at the sectionals, because Ascot got the sectionals, he actually, I think he runs the final 3 furlongs even quicker than Labarosa, and it's literally just hands and heels. The 3rd and 4th look nice horses in that race. They've both come out and won since. And the John Gosden's, obviously John Gosden's only had the 2 winners, but if you look at his Derby runners, they tend to only have 1 start at 2. Tends to take his time. Then obviously Dirab didn't win his first run, so he can run in another maiden. So what I'm hoping is he'll run in a maiden probably mid-April, and then John Gosden tends to send his best Derby chance to the Dante. Obviously Golden Horn won the Dante. Jack Hobbs was second in that same Dante. I think he's won it with Wings of Desire. He won it with Roaring Lion. Yeah, he tends to send a good one, or his good ones, to the Dante. Now, the Dante entries actually came out yesterday, and Dirab's in it, thank God. So that was pleasing to see him in it. And I just think this horse is going to be, I think he's going to be very good. And he is available at 50 to 1.
Is it?
Places. Yeah, not on the exchange. He's available.
11's on the exchange.
Well, that's because you've just been taking it all.
I haven't.
Well, you took some, because I backed him this morning at 48 on there, and that's gone.
Well, we've not talked about this. He's just in my slides. So, I mean, maybe I've got a bit on.
You took something.
All the way down.
I'm on an average of 48.
Hey, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to crow about prices.
No, it's not. It won't grow. It'll go back up. If you stop taking it and leave it, it'll go back up. I think there's some bots that just put like fivers up every now and again, and I keep taking it. But yeah, I'm sure he's 50s. If you can get on with some of these bookies, let's have a look. It might be 40s.
It's probably because I'm not actually logged in there, so I bet he's actually available for bigger. It's probably showing like
right. 3 places, 50s. Bet365, Betfred, Unibet, all 50 to 1.
Nice.
I would suggest taking that. Yeah, I haven't heard. We don't really get stable tours from John Gosden, and I haven't heard anything. But the fact he's entered in the Dante, which is in 6 weeks, has to be a good sign. So yeah, he is like he's. Do you remember when I was chipping away at Gaia?
Yeah.
This is the new project. So basically, as soon as I see him entered, I presume he'll go for a maiden because he can. And then I'll start shipping more money onto him. But yeah, really like him. Watch the Ascot race over 7 furlongs. It's a good race. Like anyway, there'll be loads of winners out of that, and he just looks like a nice, classy horse. So that maiden, he's probably already ran to like mid-80s. And then Labarosa came out and won the Group 3 anyway. So yeah, really like him. Big price. You know what I mean? Gosden. I think Gosden's absolutely on fire at the moment, especially with his top class horses.
Cool. Very good. Right. So to the Yorks. Let's talk about Hopefully Darling then. So by Frank, I'm probably going to back this one for the 1000 as well, but the Yorks is probably more the trip. By Frankel, out of a dam called Radigunda, who is also the dam of Nathaniel, interestingly enough. And it did make me chuckle a little bit because so you've got Frankel shagging the mum of Nathaniel. So it's kind of like if you're Nathaniel and it's like your enemy at school, and then he goes and shags your mum, or like the kid who's always better than you at footy, and then they go and shag your mum. So very high quality breeding, and it also made me smile. Any more insight on Hopefully Darling?
Did you mention she's a full sister of Cracksman?
No, I didn't.
That's probably the key bit.
No, I was more intrigued by Frankel shagging Nathaniel's mum.
She's not Nathaniel's mum.
Yes, she is.
Radigunda is not Nathaniel's mum.
Let me have a look. You keep talking then, and I'll see.
I'm looking at a progeny page now. She's not Nathaniel's mum.
Oh well, that's good.
I'll tell you what, I'll talk about her because I actually know about her. Yeah.
I got excited. Yeah, it's not Nathaniel's mum, is it?
No, it's Cracksman's mum. So basically, the Oaks, again, the top of the market. It's this Santa Barbara is just a stupid price. Like she may be the bloody best thing since sliced bread, but do you know what I mean? You're not getting any sort of value on her whatsoever. You know, I mean, she's been priced up as if she's already a Group 1 winner, really. I'm just trying to take some more money on D-Rab before everyone jumps on. So yeah, you've got to take her on. Also, it's quite interesting that obviously she's shortened up for this, but if you look at her siblings, Iridessa and Order of Australia, they are both by staying sires in Rule of the World and Australia, and their best trip seems to be a mile, maybe 10 furlongs for Iridessa. So there's potential that she might not even see out this Oaks trip that well. Aiden O'Brien thinks she's got plenty of speed, so there's definite question marks there. And considering her price, like any question marks, do you know what I mean? They're going to count against her. I thought the obviously O'Brien's got plenty of horses. Again, I'm not going to touch on them all, so don't get upset if we haven't mentioned something you've backed. I remember last year someone got upset because I didn't mention one of the O'Brien horses, which did nothing. So that's why we didn't mention it. But yeah, Empress Josephine, full sister of mine, who won last week. She's relatively interesting, but again, I still wouldn't even be sure if she'd go over this. But I like the Gosden angle again in this. If O'Brien isn't winning the Oaks, it's probably going to be John Gosden, as we've seen in the last few years with Annapurna and with Enable and Tagruda all winning it recently. So yeah, I went and had a little look at his, and the best thing is about these Gosden horses, they're all massive prices still because they've only had one run, some of them. So yeah, and also it's interesting with Gosden, the all-weather angle, having one run on the all-weather late in the season. Obviously did it with Enable. Annapurna had a run on the all-weather. I think it was a second start. Frankly Darling last year, who was his Oaks horse, she had a run on the all-weather at Newcastle. So yeah, like he's not afraid to send his top-class horses to the all-weather. So to get me started, I'm going to tip Delectable You, who's 50-1 in most places. I've actually been sniping 65s on the exchange because I got
Stop it.
What?
Stop it.
No, I'm saying it'll still be there. Because I got them to add it.
It's not there anymore.
Yeah, I know, but it keeps coming back. It must be a bot or something. It just keeps putting some money up on it. But yeah, obviously she started off at Newcastle over 10 furlongs, so she's a full sister to Two Down Hot, Saw Me Da, Lathi Da, that kind of thing. So she's obviously top notch. She's by Debawi. That could be a bit of a negative, I suppose, for the Oaks. But clearly she has inherited more of the stamina side, whereas Two Down Hot obviously was like lightning, one over 7 and 8 furlongs. She probably more in the mould of Latidar, who went off. I think she was Antepost favourite for the Oaks, but got injured. I think she went off favourite for the St. Ledger and came second. We're starting off Delectable You over 10 furlongs. Obviously, suggests that she's got plenty of stamina, and that's what you want in your Oaks filly. One of my notes here is just lots of stamina. You want a filly. Obviously, these are only 3-year-old fillies. They're still at the start of the careers, so you want something that's going to be able to stay the trip and stay well, as opposed to maybe potentially a sort of a speedier type 12 furlong horse. So that Newcastle maiden was actually pretty good. There was some like Godolphin horses in there. There's a nice Mark Johnson Galileo horse in there who's come out and won since. And she's probably ran up to a mark of around 80 in that. So that was a nice start for her, I thought. She's 50s, pedigree's all there. Second one, Tom's touched on, getting the pedigree all wrong, is Hopefully Darling. She actually had a race, I think it was over 7 furlongs at Newmarket. That was on heavy ground. I mean, she wouldn't have been in. Well, to be fair, she's out with pivotal damage, so she wouldn't have minded it, the softer ground. But obviously not on debut. She's a full sister at Cracksman. Obviously top class horse. He was third in a derby. Probably should have won. We found out how good he was later on in his career. So again, that's all there. She's 50-1. Obviously, with these horses, you're guessing a little bit just off the pedigrees and what could happen. But you're getting 50-1 instead of back in Santa Barbara, who's sort of stupid price of 3-1. The other one who I thought was quite interesting, who I don't think loads of people will have heard of. Again, she's only had one run on the all-weather at Lingfield, and that was Evania. Evania, she actually won on debut, which a lot of John Gosden horses wouldn't win on debut. So and she won pretty nicely, beating another John Gosden horse who went off favourite. She is by Golden Horn. A lot of the Golden Horn progeny have been very stout stayers, and she's out of Hanami. who was 110 rated at one point. She actually won a Group 2 over 10 furlongs. So there's a bit of stamina on the downside. She was out of a side called Hernando, who was a French sire who's absolutely loads of stamina on that side of the pedigree. So yeah, she's got plenty of stamina, and I just thought the fact that she won first time up in an alright maiden was quite interesting. So they're the Gosden ones I like. I've got the Monsoon Moon and Indigo Girl written down, but as I said earlier, Indigo Girl might go French, and also Strides like Amila from that Simon Rowan article, even though she's a full sister to Journey who stayed a trip. And Monsoon Moon, the half to Logician, but I until I see it happen, I'm not backing Kingmans to win classics over 12 furlongs. Have you got any others for this?
No, now that I found out that Frankel didn't shag Nathaniel's mum, I'm just gonna not say.
To be fair, I think that would be. No, it wouldn't. I was thinking something else. Well, I've got a few other notables that I've written down.
Other ones that I'll talk about. I mean, I've got Willow Oaks. That's a O'Brien horse by American Pharaoh out of Peeping Fawn. That myself was a Group 1 winner over 10 and 12. Also had September, who won a listed race at 2, but only ran once in the UK and Ireland at 3. Perhaps issues there. Quite liked the high class pedigree away from Galileo for Como in American Pharaoh. Snowfall is interesting as well. Deep Impact, Japanese sire, Damn Best of the World. She was a Group 3 winner over a mile and a half in the Give Thanks Stakes at Cork in 2016. So there's a couple of notes on the couple more O'Brien ones beyond the ones you've said. Nothing else.
Yeah. There's a few more that I wrote down that are interesting. Tiona, just a little bit of a different angle. Tiona, Rogerian horse. Really, really impressive on a second start at Newcastle. She stepped up to 10 furlongs and destroyed the field. She's by Sea the Stars out of Ambivalent. It was a Group 1 winner over 10 furlong, but she stayed 12. She's actually a half to Al Hilali, if you remember that Godolphin horse a couple of years ago. She looks like a pretty impressive horse. She's actually got a mark of 95, and if they did go for some handicap of 95, an absolute shoe-in. But she was actually beaten on debut by Sea Empress, a William Haggis horse, who's also by Sea the Stars, but she's only out of a 70 rated dam, and her full sister was only rated 83. And I just think potentially Tiona stepped up. She stepped up 2 furlongs, and she just might have improved massively the second time. But we haven't seen Sea Empress out again. So it'd be interesting to see what she does, but I couldn't have her for this until I'd seen something better. The pedigree's not great to be winning a classic. The Snow Lantern, you mentioned earlier, I had her more down as a potential Oaks filly. Just see Frankel as more of a stamina influence. I know he won the Guineas and stuff, but he was pretty amazing, wasn't he? So, but his progeny he's been getting more sort of staying types, really. They probably need to breed more speed into him. They need to send more like 5-6 furlong mares. But yeah, that pedigree is just top class, isn't it? It's just, Frankel out of Sky Lantern. So yeah, and I did like her debut, as I mentioned. She's 50-1 for this, so again, big price. And then the last one I've written down was Noon Star. The only Galileo I fancy, actually. Out of Midday. Obviously, Midday was top class. Full sister to Midterm. She was impressive on her second start. I think it was at Nottingham. Obviously, her damn Midday was only beaten. She was second in Oaks, the Sariska. She was only beaten ahead. She's only going to improve up and trip and get some better ground. She's not as big a price as the Gosden one. I think she's 33s and 25s, so not a massive price. But again, that's a really nice pedigree. I like she's a Michael Stout horse, and there's another Michael Stout horse that I'm interested in the Derby, but I mean, he hasn't had a Derby winner or an Oaks winner for a long time, so don't really know what to think about that. But yeah, the two I was definitely most interested in were Delectable You and hopefully Darling, and I'm interested to see what Ivania does. Her price might last a little bit longer with not having the sort of high profile colours and not being like so well related as the other two. But I mean, 50-1 and hopefully Darling and Delectable You, that's the kind of Antepost prices you want for a race like this. And we've had good success in the Oaks. So the Oaks was the one I was actually most interested in. Apart from Dirab, he's the one. I'm really up.
Good, very nice. So that's the first batch of classics. Are we going to talk about the ledger or not? I haven't done anything on the ledger.
I haven't done anything. I'm so annoyed with the ledger because anything you fancy just seems to get sold to Australia before the race. So.
Cool, good.
A sour taste to that one.
So we'll wrap it there. We'll move into the second half. Where I'll actually wake up because this is the half that excites me. Horses to follow. Do you know who that is?
I might add another one, seeing as though you've already mentioned Noble Dynasty. I'll get my tracker up. Maybe a bonus one.
Cool, good. Do you know who that is?
That is Celsius.
Yes, it is Celsius. Get it. Well done.
Just remembered the colours.
Yeah. I'll kick us off then. First one, Aestheti or Aesthet by Muraha out of a dam called Miss Brown to You. Get this one in the trackers. 3 runs so far over 6 and 7 furlongs. Finished 4th of 6th, 3rd of 11th, and 6th of 6th. Michael Bella's had multiple winners out of this same dam, Miss Brown to You. So Empowerment of Women was a maiden winner over 8.5 furlongs. Then the key aspects to this one. Big Orange, Group 1 winner, rated over 120, wins over 1.5 miles and 16 furlongs. And India, a 3-time winner over 12 furlongs and rated in the high 80s. So you're going to get a horse here that'll just be getting a handicap mark and has run over 6 and 7 furlongs and needs to go over 1.5 miles. And I think Aesthet should get at least a couple of wins this season. What you'll see in a lot of my selections is I'm hunting around for horrific maiden and novice form where the trainer has a homebred dam where they're used to kind of bringing on kind of homebred horses and getting wins out of them. So I like this one.
Hang on 2 seconds, Mark.
Yeah, I'll keep going. So Aesthetic, you get that one in trackers. Next one is on a similar theme. Party Rebel by Acceleration. Dam is Naomi Galis. Mark Johnson, kind of homebred. This horse has had 4 runs, done nothing. Mark Johnson has had a load of winners out of this dam. Salt on Roma was a winner at 2 and then multiple winner at 3. Outbacker, who won a maiden at 3. Rebel Assault, who was a multiple winner and won a decent class 3 handicap, was rated 87. And Alexander M, who won 5 times at 3-year-old and is now rated in the 90s. So same thing. Homebred dam trainer knows what to do with the progeny on the offspring of the dam, bringing them along and going to get some wins in handicaps. Are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah.
So I'll throw it back over to you then. So there's 2 from me, Aestheti and Party Rebel to kick us off. You can go next.
That Aestheti is in my tracker. I should let you know. So good start.
So is that another one I've busted from your tracker that you weren't going to tell anyone about? That's my objective, is to find things in your tracker you're not telling people.
I actually I forget because I went through all the last year's races when I was bored in the winter and updated it all, so I haven't even looked at it for a couple of months. So obviously I mentioned Noble Dynasty, half brother of Barney Roy, but we've mentioned him. So and he cost 3.6 million, on a horse. Noble Dynasty.
Not one for handicaps there.
Well, I'm sure he got a mark. I've got written down. I know he got a mark of 89 or 88 or something. But then I've gone and checked, and the marks disappeared. So I don't know what's going on with that. Anyway, my first one, Legend of Dubai. I think I think he's a Roger Varian horse. I haven't got the fancy graphics like you, Tom. I've just written it down on a piece of paper. Legend of Dubai. He is by Dubawi, out of multiple Group 1 winning dam, Speedy Boarding. Now, he's had 3 runs. Yeah, he is a Roger Varian horse. He's had 3 runs and he kept bumping into some decent horses on his way from those 3 runs, and he's managed to get a mark of 85, which is probably a bit of a gift, to be honest, looking at his pedigree and looking at the form of his races. Yeah, Speedy Boarding was like rated 150. He's been running over a mile. I would expect he should probably maybe around a 10 furlong horse. Yeah, if they put him in a handicap of 85, I'll just steam in basically. That's my first one.
Go on, you can go again as well because I did too.
All right, okay. Second one is a horse called Surrey Gold.
You're always asking about this one on Twitter, aren't you?
Yeah, I was interested to know what they were going to do with it. I think it's still in the Derby. Sometimes they go abroad and try and win like the German Group 3s or something. So he's another one who's had 3 runs. He's by Golden Horn out of Shemaiah, something like that. So she's had a few progeny. They've sort of peaked around 100. So pretty good. She's a Group 3 winner. I think she won a Group 3 over in Germany. Now this horse, Surrey Gold, won on its final start as a 3-year-old, beating a Godolphin horse called Bridesmaid, coming from the back. It was pretty impressive considering the mile trip is way too short for this horse, I'd imagine. As I said earlier about Golden Horn, he's such a stamina influence, it seems, at the moment. And his 3-year-old, if you look at his stats of 2-year-old to 3-year-old, they just go through the roof. Like obviously it's not the biggest of samples because I think he's only been a sire. I think his oldest horses are probably 4-year-olds. But they went from their win to run percentage was like above 50%, which was up there with like Galileo, Dubawi, and all that. And it's just obviously because they're improving for a bit of time and a trip. But yeah, he's only rated 75. I don't know what they're going to do with him. As I said, he's still in the Derby. They probably do have big aspirations for him, but I mean, that mark is just there to be taken advantage of. He could rack up a sequence, really. It wouldn't surprise me if he was 95, 100 horse, no problem. So yeah, he's a nice one.
Good. We'll go back. I'll come to the first of my George Scott horses. I like George Scott. I think he's a bit of a tinker. I think he's a bit of a scumbag. He gets very good first time out or second time out in a handicap. So he's basically just getting him handicapped in maidens and novices, which is lovely. By Dandy Man, Damas Azar, 3 runs, 3rd of 8th, 4th of 8th, and 8th of 12th. Dam this horse was a maiden winner over 6 furlongs and was rated in the high 80s. And again, it's a thing like decent pedigree. George Scott is doing scummy things. If you go and look at his first time in a handicap record, you can see it there. 15 from 74, 20% strike rate, plus 39, 15 wins against, 10.8 expected. I imagine George Scott will be able to make something work in early handicap starts with Mel's Flyer. I have then another George Scott horse, Tribuna Uffizi, by Zoffany, who sadly we lost last year and was one of our favourite sires, out of a dam called Bunhood. Been garbage so far, 3 runs, 7th of 9th, 8th of 12th, 10th of 10th. Again, very good trainer, first time out in a handicap. Should have a mark now, will be coming out. You'd expect in the next couple of weeks or months for a handicap run. The dam has had Babel's Boy, who's rated 99, Lanansac rated 104, and Estebsal rated 82. It's also had a load of crap that are rated 50 and 60, but Zoffany, Bunhood, George Scott in an early handicap, all good. Both of those two will win on their first 2 handicap starts, I expect. Back over to you.
Okay, yeah, it's bit of a pretty obvious one here, but I thought it was with a certain horse winning all these big races, I thought it was quite appropriate. And my next one is Third Kingdom for John Gosden. Now, this horse could potentially be Mishriff Mark II. It's the same owner, the same sire, similar sort of 2-year-olds campaign. He's actually got some really nice form. He was third at Sandown behind Etonian and One Ruler. Obviously, we mentioned One Ruler for the 2000 Guineas, and he was right behind them. He was on a short head behind One Ruler. In fourth, 3 lengths behind was Flying High, who's another nice horse. So yeah, he's by Make Believe, who's sort of the sire of the moment, really, I suppose, with what Mishriff's been doing. He's out of a Group 1 winning mare, who was a multiple Group 3 runner as well, so pretty good. He then, on his final start, because he hadn't won, he'd come third twice, he went to Newcastle and won a pretty poor race, to be honest, but I mean, he did it in a canter, it wasn't hard. He's got an opening mark of 88. Now, he's definitely going to be a group horse. So 88 is going to look pretty slim. Don't know what they'll do with him. I mean, Jesus, 88, they can do anything, really. But yeah, I mean, it's the kind of horse that I get annoyed with because he's off a mark of 88, and they'll run him in like a listed race or something, and he'll be rated over 100. But yeah, he's a really nice horse.
Cool. You can go again. We'll do 2.
All right. Well, I've only got 2 more left then, really. So yeah, this is a 4-year-old I'm putting up here who's only had 2 starts. This is quite an exciting horse, I think. Called Hydros.
How do you spell it?
Hydros.
Got it.
Yeah, so he's by Frankel, out of Trojan Queen, which makes him a half brother to Sangarius. He already had. Is he a 4-year-old now, or is he 5-year-old? Can I see on your screen? 4-year-old. Yeah. So he's only had 2 career starts, even though he's a 4-year-old. So I'm guessing they've taken the time with him, or maybe he had some niggling issues. But on his debut at Doncaster, he was second to Magical Morning, who's a John Gosden horse. He's rated 97, I think. He's probably going to be sort of a listed type horse this year, and that was over a mile. Now, the most amazing thing about this Hydros is obviously he's got the nice pedigree by Frankel, out of Trojan Queen, half to Sangarius, blah blah blah. His stride data is insane. His peak stride was 27.39 feet.
Oof.
I think that is the biggest I've ever seen.
What was Logician? Because he was long.
I don't know, but
he was 27 something.
Yeah,
but that's wild. That's wild. Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. But then you look at his frequency as well, right? His frequency was like an average of 2.16. What that basically means in striding terms, this horse could probably get 2 miles, no problem. He is running against an out-and-out miler, and he actually finished quicker than him. So this horse, Logicians is actually that big from the Doncaster run. Or that could be the average, though. He might have peaked higher.
There's a big run. He's had a really big run at one point.
He's tied 25.88. Yeah, so this Hydros, he's definitely going to be, well, from his stride there anyway. Obviously, I've already spoke about Frankel getting horses that want a bit of a trip. Like, I think it's like pretty incredible, to be fair, what he's done there. If you check the sectionals as well, he's actually quicker than. I mean, he's carrying £7 less because Magical Morning had a penalty. And then he's just gone and won an easy race at Pontefract. But I think like his mark disappeared as well. But I had him written down with a mark of around 91. Anyway, but this horse, like, I have no idea how good he could be, but he could definitely be an Ebor horse this year if that's the route they went down. Like, he's going to stay the trip. He's eat the ground. Really excited to see. Hopefully, he's all right. He's only had 2 starts, but yeah, interested to see what they do with him. That striding is really like out of this world, to be fair. So, and maybe that's why they've taken so long with him, because he must be huge, like in the flesh. But yeah, I think he's really interesting Hydros. He's a Michael Stout as well, so like obviously he tends to take his time. So yeah, he could be an absolute weapon over
very nice
a distance.
You're clearly excited by him.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they do with him.
I think we've kind of taken a different angle with horses to follow. Like, I'm looking for things that are rubbish that might win off 60.
Yeah,
a mark of 50. But this one actually isn't that.
But Tom, they're the ones I like to keep.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to give the gold away when I've got. To be fair, like they're all pretty well-known horses, the ones I've said, but
yeah,
they've got stupid marks. Some of them.
This one, quite like. This one isn't one of them. But Persaria by Equiano and Out of Persario, 2 runs, 5th on both run, but is a full sister to the Tin Man, and of course, James Fanshawe is very good with sprinters. He's done very well with horses out of this dam Persario. He's had the Tin Man, of course, a multiple Group 1 winner. Indian Tigress, who's a dual winner, is rated in the high 80s. If So, who was a treble winner, was rated 91. Deacon Blues, who was a multiple Group winner and won the Champion Sprint Stakes at Ascot and was rated in the 120s. So whatever Persaria ends up doing, if they get a handicap mark for that horse, then I can imagine she's going to come out and do some nice things in some handicaps, some sprint handicaps. So definitely one for the tracker there. Got another one from Fanshawe as well. Pookie had 1 run, I think, start of March, by Twilight Sun out of Firenze, and Fanshaw's had a load of winners from Firenze as a dam. Isla Verde won on debut. Green Monkey, 4-time winner. Mazzini, who was a multiple winner, rated over 100. Harry's Bar, who was a multiple winner, rated over 100, and who was also one of the favourites in one of the all-weather races. Moved from Fanshawe to Ado McGuinness and is back on Good Friday, and really fancied in one of the races at Lingfield, and also Lady Eleanor, who's a novice winner, was weighted in the 80s as well. So we've only seen 1 run from Pookie, but I expect Pookie to be pretty decent. You'd expect high 70s, 80s when you look at the pedigree and the quality of the other horses out of the dam, and Fanshawe knows how to bring him along. So pretty good.
I'm sure you put up Lady Eleanor in the same section last year, and she won at like
25s. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I remember.
Back to you.
I haven't really written any more down now, so I'm just looking at my tracker. I don't know which ones to say. What I was taking note of last year is when they were giving out handicap marks for 2 runs. Like, Jesus, like some of these horses were getting outrageous marks. But I'm now looking at them, and the handicap marks have disappeared. Like, I
think they're going. They might get reevaluated.
So that's a bit of a nightmare actually if that happens.
But, right, if you're done, I've got a few more. We've gone over an hour, so
yeah, go on then. You just carry on.
I'll take us home. Bagdoor Bellardo out of Ravensburg, 3 runs, 5th, 6th, 7th. Another trainer angle a little bit, but Chris Wall is very good training horses first time out in handicaps or in the early handicaps. 29 out of 180, 16% plus 91 versus 21.9 expected wins. He also trained a horse out of Ravensburg called Black Lotus, who had figures of 6th, 5th on his first 3 runs. Then started off in handicaps on a mark of 61 and was 3rd of 12th on handicap debut. Okay, but then won next 2 starts and was second on his remaining 3-year-old starts, and ended up going from 61 to 77 over the course of his 3-year-old season. And is currently rated 91 and ran in a Group 3 at Newmarket last October. So yeah, so from Chris Wall, trained Dam, Ravensburg, did exactly the same thing with this Black Lotus, 3 very quiet runs in maidens and novices, and then just came out and just banged through handicaps over the course of 3-year-old season. And I expect Chris Wall to do a very similar thing with Bagdoor. Next one is Jim Boyle, Hope Springs, Muckerdram, out of Spring Clean, 1 run, finished 9th with a terrible RPR. Similar thing, Boyler's trained a load of winners out of the Dam Spring Clean. Hoover, who was a multiple winner rated in the 70s. Clearing, a 4-time winner rated in the 80s. Black Bess, 5-time winner rated in the 90s. Shining, a 2-time winner in the 70s. And Bonus, a winner in the 60s. Muckerdram, decent. Boyle obviously either has the Dam at home, this is a homebred, or knows very well when he's buying from horses out of Spring Clean. So similar thing, we'll get a handicap mark, and then I expect this horse to be winning over 5 and 6 for Jim Boyle this season. Another one, you can, and it's all a similar thing, but Havengor by Helmet out of Medal, 2 runs, last on both starts so far. Paul Darcy has had a number of winners out of this Dam Medal. Little Jazz, who's a 2-time winner in the 60s, rated in the 60s. Danathean, who's a 2-time winner rated in the 60s. Anastasia, who's a multiple winner over 6, rated in the 70s. They waited with that horse until handicap nurseries later in the season and won a couple of races with that. Dolly Dupree, who was a winner over 7 and 8, rated in the 50s. Now you see that these are not high quality horses, but again, I just reckon they're just handicapping, finish nowhere in the novices and maidens. They'll get a mark in the 50s and 60s, and I expect Paul Darcy will win with this Havengor in a handicap at a fairly decent price. That's it, and then I've got Derab.
Very good.
Good. Who's your selection for the like you one horse to take out the podcast?
Oh, Derab.
Derab
wins the derby.
Oof, lovely.
Beats the O'Brien contingent. O'Brien trains these horses. They all run to around 120, 125 max. They're all clones. They're all the same. He's very susceptible to a top notcher, a 130 horse, and I think, I mean, to be fair, you don't need to be anywhere near that to win a derby in the past few years. But you know what I mean, when Gosden had Golden Horn, obviously he went on and won the Arc and stuff. Like, this could be another one of them. It's all there, taking his time. I'm hoping. I was looking at the sort of Cracksman and how he did it with him and how he did it with Golden Horn and that. I'm hoping for like a run in mid-April, and then obviously the Dante. The Dante is key. That's when we will find out, because I think Cracksman, I think Golden Horn, I think they both won their first start, so they had to then run in listed company basically around that April date, and then obviously Golden Horn won the Dante. Cracksman didn't go to the Dante; he went a different route. But yeah, that's so. But Derab will probably go a maiden, bolt up, and then go into the Dante, and then we'll know if we're onto a live one.
Cool, good. Mine's probably that Bagdoor.
Bagdoor. What's that off? I recognise that.
No, I don't know. We'll just win at least 2 races this season. Cool, good. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks everyone. See you later.
Goodbye.